Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking about ways you can improve the chances of getting your F1 visa approved. We'll be talking about things you need to do before the interview, during the day of the interview, during the actual interview, and also after the interview. Other things we'll be discussing in this video includes dressing, how to present yourself, and most importantly, how to present your documents and your story. A little bit about me. I am Richard and I came to the United States on an F1 visa back in 2021. Other than that, I've helped about 4 or 5 people to get their F1 and also tourist visa approved, including my own sister. And these are the tips that I have for you to improve your chances. I'll talk about things that you need to do before applying for the visa. Before I jump in, I want to congratulate you on your acceptance to a US university. I know it may seem like a small achievement, but I'm very proud of you and I'm very proud of how far you've come. Anyways, the first thing that you will need to do is to gather all the documents that you need for your applications. Technically, they are called supporting documents. These documents include your I-20, your passport, your financial documents, letters from your sponsor, anything that shows ties back to your country. So for example, let's say you live in Ghana, okay, and you have a kid or you have a child or you are married. Anything that shows the embassy that you have an affiliation back to your country. So you can send your marriage certificate, your children's birth certificate. You can also send, let's say if you have a piece of land, a property, a car, a business, take those documents with you. They are not necessarily going to ask for it, but you just don't know with an F1 visa interview. So take them with you. Second thing you need to do following your application will be paying your MRV or visa fee and also paying your service fee. Make sure you keep your receipt for both payments, okay? It's very important to show that you've paid them, basically. And what you also need to do is you need to fill your DS-160. And this is the most important part. On the DS-160, make sure all grammar you put on there is correct. Your English needs to be correct. If you want someone to help you, reach out to that person and indicate on the form that someone helped you. So one important thing about the DS-160, about the who is paying for your trip part, if you're a student and your father is paying for you, you need to choose a parent and put the name of your father there. It's always better to do that. Don't just put a parent and not put anybody's name or put your name there. You are not the one paying for the trip. And make sure that the person that's paying for the trip is also the person that is sponsoring you. It makes it easy. It doesn't make your story complicated. So who is paying for your trip will be my father, Mr. ABCD. Other things that you need to take seriously on the DS-160 would be the places that you will be staying in the US, like your school's address. Normally, if you're an F1 student, it will be a school address. If you are coming on a visitor visa, it's normally the hotel you will be staying and things like that. Take those seriously. It will minimize many questions that they will ask you. Also, treat the visa interview as a job interview, as something you really need, because it's very important. It's the most important aspect of your study abroad journey. So on the part where they are asking for your employment history and all that, present it as if you were presenting it on your resume. Make it very professional. Go over it again and know everything on your DS-160 before you submit it. Depending on your consulate or your US embassy, after filling your DS-160, your next step will be taking a picture, or you will have to take it before filling the DS-160, because some will let you upload it and some will let you bring it in person. So you need to know the requirement, and you normally find on their website, or when you begin filling the DS-160, they will let you know that you need to take a picture. So keep note of that. You need to take a 2x2 US passport picture. It's a little bit chunky. Sure you have that requirement. And make sure you meet the background requirement as well. If it has to be a white background, I don't know what it is now. My tenor was a white background. Make sure you have the white background. So what do you have to do on the day of the interview? Honestly, in my opinion, a little bit like A day before the interview, if you live far out, if you live like hours away from the consulate and your appointment is like at an early day, any early time, like maybe 8, 9, 10 a.m., I suggest you move closer by like getting a hotel or just moving to stay with a relative who lives close to the embassy or who lives a little bit closer to the embassy or the consulate, so that you can get there on time, because you don't want to be late. And my advice is get there around an hour before, or an hour or 45 minutes before your appointment time, so that you have time to put all the things you need to do, go over your documents one more time, and just make sure you have everything that you need. My experience, I had to retake my picture on the morning of the interview. Like, that's where I took my picture basically. So like, give room for mistakes, like give room for mistake and being able to fix it before your interview without affecting it. Let's talk about dressing. Dressing is one of the most important part of the interview because it's all about your first impression. And you might think, oh, I'm going to dress my best. I'm going to wear a suit. I'm going to put a lot of good cologne or spray on me just to appear nicely. Don't do that. In the F1 visa world, there is something called immigrant intent, okay? Your intention for coming to the United States. Is it purely for studying, or are you trying to move to the United States to live a better life here? And you don't want to come off as someone who is desperate to come to America, because that will somewhat link to immigrant intent. I'll tell you that. So dress nicely, dress comfortably. Don't wear suits and big things. If you're a professional, like if you're a doctor, it's okay to wear a suit. Or if you are like coming to a US on an O visa, like someone who is like exceptional in what they do, it's a little bit okay to wear a suit. But as a student, as someone coming on a visitor visa, don't overkill yourself. Like, don't do that. You will come off as very aggressive, like someone who is eager to get the visa, and that's what we don't want. Trim your hair nicely a couple of days or week before your appointment, so that doesn't look like a fresh cut the same day. Again, trying to not come off as aggressive or someone who wants the visa badly. And put a nice cologne on you if you can, but don't overdo it. Don't put a cologne on you to the point that when someone lights a fire, you could turn into a flame. No, put a little bit on you. Smell good for yourself, not for the visa officer. In the interview room, okay, in a room, it's more like if you've been to a bank, okay? You know how there's a teller where you go and you talk to them, like there's a glass in between the two of you, and just to protect them from you and just to protect you from them. It's technically the same thing, except in the US Embassy, the glass are thicker, like very thick, and they are bulletproof, so that you can't hurt the visa officers. Interview room, maintain your posture. Don't be looking around, like wandering around, like what is going on. Keep yourself calm. Okay, if someone in front of you or two people, or you see people getting rejected, take your mind off that. Look straight ahead and appear very confident. So when it's your turn, walk confidently to the visa officer. Walk straight ahead, look them in the face. Don't be doing this. In America or in the Western world, eye contact is a signal of trust. If you're lying to somebody, you can't really fully look into the eye. So maintain eye contact. And a trick is, if you feel like you cannot look them in the eye, because I know how we grew up in Africa, you could not look into your parents' eye because they see it as a sign of a challenge. Look on their nose or look at their eyebrows. They will see you as you're looking at their eye, because of like, maybe if you're a little bit down and he's up, because you'll be standing on some raised platform. So just look on their nose or their eyebrow and just maintain that look. Don't be changing your eye. Keep your answers simple and short. That's my tip. So for example, why are you going to the US? You could possibly say, I'm going to the US to study my master's in whatever, computer science at Purdue University or at Wayne State University, or at anything that you just keep it short and simple. Going to the US to study a bachelor's in computer science at Wayne State University or at Dot University. And who is sponsoring you? My father, Mr. ABCD, is sponsoring me. He's currently an engineer at Microsoft. Simple. And your documents, arrange them accordingly. like arrange them in a sense. When you get there, they will ask you for your passport, your DS-160, and your service confirmation, like your service fee receipt. Arrange them so that you don't have to go digging it. Like, don't squash them all together. If there's a my clear file that can separate your documents for you, get one of those so that you know exactly where your bank statement is. When they ask you, you just go in there and you swipe it out and you give them you give it to them. So just arrange them nicely and know where every document is. I don't want you to like, can you give me a bank statement? Okay, yes. No, that will annoy the officer. The officer might be a very good person and wants to give you the visa, but it will seem like you're not serious enough. Like, you don't even know what you are doing. Appear professional and know what you are doing. Where's your bank statement? There you go, please. Simple as that. Also, other things that the officer might know about you before the interview or during the time in the interview room will be whether you've been denied a visa before and the reason you were denied from other officers. Don't let that scare you. Make sure your situations change before. Let's say if you didn't have enough money the first time, this time you have enough money, so that it invalidates what the previous officer said about you. You will not see those notes, but they will see that note. And also, they will check to see if there is a pending immigration case in the US on your behalf. So, for example, you have a father here who has filed for you to come to America, but it's still pending. They will see that, and that could possibly impact, because then you have immigrant intent in some way or shape or form. Also, things they will see will be your security clearance. They will check like with some databases to see if you have some security clearance issues, or there are some things that needs to be cleared first before you can be granted a visa. Also, in the interview room, one thing I want you to know is try to make your interview not really an interview but a conversation. That's how mine went. You want to get up there, like when you get to the window, just don't stand there and wait for them to talk. You get there, you're like, "Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?" Or, "Good morning, mom. How are you doing today?" And they will answer. It will set you apart from a lot of applicants because you are a little bit confident and you are also courteous. Thank you for watching it to this point of the video. If you found any of this information helpful, please be sure to leave a subscription, like and share this video with other F1 applicants or people who are looking to come to the US in the near future. You can always send me an email. Also follow me on Instagram to keep up with my life somehow. And I want you to continue the friendship that we have with a subscription. That's all I want from you today. Just like the video, share it. Thanks for your time again. My name is Richard and I'm your friend. Bye-bye.